Okay, hold on. All right, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Bring a Thumb. Yahweh Shemar Thumb Bashim Yahshua. Priest and Officer 1000 Yadai. I'm holding it down till 12 show. General Mahaim to get there. Make sure if you got any questions in the room, raise your hand. If you have any questions online, you want to say for General Mahaim. Now, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. We got to realize this, man, how important it is for us to come back to who we are and our identity. Because we have no clue. Like, we have no iota. We walking around here thinking that we're so-called African American. When how can we be descendants of Leo Scipios Africanus and Americos Vespucci? That's two oppressors. We walking around here thinking that we Wakanda too, Ashtawakan. We know damn well we not. The real Jews are so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. And that's here in the Bible. If I could, young man Chris, give me Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Ashtawakan, give me Song of Solomon 1 and 5. This is what we got to realize, man. And it's another thing which is so imperative and heavy about it is that Africans know that we're not the same as them. Like, if you ask any so-called African, like ask them Futu, Ngala, and the Black Panther, they'll tell you that the so-called Negro in America, the so-called West Indians, the so-called Haitians, that we are not the same as them. Our problem is that we want to have camaraderie and brotherhood with everybody on the planet except our own, except that Latino man and woman, except that First Nation man and woman, except that fellow Black man and woman in every ghetto, man. We have to realize how important it is just for us to realize that our identity is right here in this Bible, man. And it's been here this entire time. Now, if I could, right, let me get what I asked for. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2.
Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2.
But
Judah morning.
The Bible says Judah morning. Now, if you had a homie named Daniel, you may call him Dan for short. You had a homie named Terrell or Tyrone, you may call him T. Now, what's short for Judah? Jew. The Bible said that the Jews would be in mourning. Now, if you cross-examine this with the so-called Jew, does he look like he in mourning? Hell no. He got the diamond district. He owned Hollywood, got the music industry. He ain't got nothing to mourn about. They living it up. But you know who is mourning? We're mourning in that ghetto. You can forget about the North American and Seminole Indians, man, and them concentration camps. Our people are mourning. Our Latino brothers and sisters in the barrio are mourning. The Bible says that the Jews would be in mourning. Read on.
And the gates thereof language.
And the gates thereof language. A gate is used for protection. Like, what is the so-called protection behind Blacks and Latinos? The Christian church? The Muslim mosque? Come on now. You're going to tell me Kemet, Akhenaten, Ra, Ma'at, 42 negative confessions, Ashtawack? I know, I've heard it all. We have to realize, as so-called Black people and so-called Latinos, our forms of spirituality, being in that church or that mosque or whatever type of, thing that just makes you feeling good inside, does not work. It fails. Christianity has failed Blacks and Latinos. Islam has failed. That's why it says our gates languish, our gates suffer. There is a place of righteous leadership for every Latino, every First Nation, every Black man and woman. And it's called the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man. But our gates languish. Read on.
They are black.
The Jews are what?
Black.
Spell it for me.
B-L-A-C-K.
The Jews are black. We're black, man. And that's right here in the Bible. They tell us for years, after a while. Pastor Ruffin used to tell me that, color ain't in the Bible, brother. It's nowhere in the Bible. Well, we read right here in Jeremiah 14 and verse 2 that the Jews are black. Goldberg's not a Jew. Heisenberg is not a Jew. Steinberg, I know y'all see them y'all here in Philadelphia. Y'all see them Rosenbond commercials everywhere. You know what I mean? They're not Jews. We're the real Jews, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Keep going.
Unto the ground.
Unto the ground. Now, when you break the ground up, right, you see different derivatives and shades of black and brown. Come in different shades, different sizes. You know what I mean? We got to understand how important it is because the Bible is giving a description of who the Jews actually are. And unlike the so-called Jew, we can prove it. The scriptures say prove all things. Max Kellerman made an ass of himself on TV and said, well, you know, it's low class, low quality information. You know why he's saying it's low class information? Because it's coming from niggas. But the Bible is for niggas. The Bible is for Latinos. The Bible is for them people that are on them reservations, some concentration camps, man. That's who this Bible is for. It's only for us. And color is right here. We just read, you know what I mean, Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2, proving that the Jews are black. Now, if I could, let me get the other one. Go ahead, Ash.
This is the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5.
Go ahead.
I am black.
I am what?
I am black.
Solomon is saying, I am black. And for you so-called nuts out there that say, oh, this is talking about Solomon's wives. Read verse 1, Song of Solomon, verse 1 and 1, Bubba for sure, and then drop back down to 5. Read that for me. Because I know I've heard that before. They say, oh, this is Solomon, his wives talking. It's not saying that he's black, but let's see. Read.
The Song of Songs, which is Solomon.
Which is what?
Which is Solomon.
The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. This is a duet. This is a duet between Solomon and his wives. And Solomon is saying that I am what? Drop down to verse 5.
I am black.
I am black. Solomon is saying, I'm black. Now, well, we got to understand, because I just showed you another scripture that said that the Jews are black. Now, what's your defense against that, Steinberg? They'll say, oh, in Jeremiah 40, black is a condition. You know what I mean? That the so-called Middle Easterns, they were black. We grew up with Ishmael Arabs in the community, right? When they look famished or look hungry, do they turn black? Hell no. They making up stuff at this point. Right. Now, this is saying that Solomon is black. Solomon is a black man, right? And who is Solomon's father? David. And wait a minute. Let's hold up. Christ came from the lineage of David, man. Right. From the lineage of David. And Christ was Solomon in the regeneration. Because Joseph, Christ's biological father, because Christ had a father, is also of the lineage of David. So David, Solomon, and Joseph and Christ are black. And Solomon is saying, not just that I'm black, read on.
It says, I am black, but comely.
I am black, but comely. Solomon is saying, I am black, but beautiful. Goes to show you, man. Goes to show you. Solomon is saying, listen, girl, I'm black and beautiful. Goes to show you, man, he running game. He's singing songs, man. You know, Chris be doing the same thing in the club. Young man Chris be in the club talking about, yeah, you know, girl, I'm black and beautiful. The other brothers over there, they just black. That's a joke, of course. But understand this, the Bible is written, you know what I mean, in slang for a reason, because this is our book. We're the 12 tribes of Israel. We have flavor. We have, you know what I mean, that it factor. Because our God gave it to us. If I could, I buy it. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. What we need to realize as the Lord's chosen people is that this is for us. The problem is we look at everybody else like they're special. Like everybody wants to look towards the African, look towards the Arab, look towards the East Indian. Let me tell you something. All of their gods are idols. Right. Each and every one of them. When I say all of their gods are idols, I wish I had my toilet paper up here, Danielle. I wish I had Malaki. Can you get my toilet paper for me, Bubba Shaw, out the camp bin? I'm about to find out what my toilet paper is. We have to understand, man, that this Bible was only for us. And these other gods, like Psalms 96 and verse 5, they're idols. They're nothing. And Islam is nothing. Like you go up in there, we've been up in that Christian church for how many years? Not knowing nothing about the Most High, not knowing nothing about Christ, not knowing nothing about the prophets. All you do is learn how to sing and dance and cheat on your husband and get your kids molested. And then you still go home short on that electric bill. What do we learn in just 10 minutes? That Christianity and Islam has failed our people because they put this notion in our mind that we have to have camaraderie with humanity. When has humanity ever had camaraderie with us? Because when we die in the streets, everybody saw that Black Panther too, right? When we die in the streets, what African nation stood up at the United Nations and said, this is wrong what's happening to our brothers in America? It'll never happen. It won't. But Africans do look out for other Africans. I remember we was talking about this, on how they airlifted all of them Chinese out of they're in China, right? After Ugandans airlifted all them Africans out of China because they were being persecuted against. I said, God damn, man, Africans love Africa. They went over there and airlifted their people out of China. So when they're gonna come and airlift us out of Philadelphia, airlift us out of New York, out of Watts and Los Angeles and Detroit? You know, Flint, Michigan still ain't got no clean water. You know why that's not gonna happen? Because we're not those people. Same thing with those Arabs, man. A lot of our people, especially in Philadelphia, you stuck on that salami, eggs, and bacon. But guess what? When you do that, you're loved. Look at Kyrie Irving. When Kyrie Irving, Chris, you remember, Osterwalk, you remember, they was talking about Ramadan Kyrie is balling. When he was Ramadan Kyrie, he was applauded. They loved him, took pictures with him. But as soon as he go out there and post a documentary that we are the Jews, oh no, they got to cancel you. They're going to call you anti-Semitic. I'm going to explain something to every so-called Negro, every so-called Latino, and every so-called First Nation man and woman. We can't be anti-Semitic because we're Shemites. We're Semitic. We're those people. The oppressor is not. They're not. We are. You know what is an excellent form of anti-Semitism? Is that when they bombed Osage Avenue in West Philadelphia in 1985, that was an act of anti-Semitism. You know what else was an act of anti-Semitism? When the oppressor rode down on horseback to whip our Haitian brothers and sisters at the border and then commemorated a goddamn coin to it. That was anti-Semitic. You could forget about every Latino, every Mexican and Central American brother and sister of the tribe of Issachar or Zebulon or Asher trying to get over here and get the so-called American dream, only to be met with AR-15s and having our babies taken away from us, 1,500 of our children lost in the system, sold into God knows what, while they're sleeping on concrete floors and drinking out the damn toilet. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. El hombre blanco es el diablo. That's what we have to come to understand. And what we have to realize, man, like we're supposed to look at this Bible, man, and read who we are. If I could get Deuteronomy 7:6 and understand that this is a morale boost, that God does not love these other nations, but he loves us. Read what you got.
Oh God, this is the book of Deuteronomy, to the 7th and verse 6. For thou art a holy people.
Stop. When the Lord says, for thou art a holy people, you got to look the word holy up. Holy is not your grandmama, auntie in that church with that feathered hat on. I understand. It's not your pastor or your imam with a white robe and gown on. When you look the word holy up, holy means to be separate or set apart. Read on.
Unto the Lord.
Meaning we have to be separate, set apart unto the Lord, because separation is good. Like one of the worst things that ever happened to our people is when we integrate. Because you mean to tell me, what, 60, 70 years after the physical slavery, Osterwalk, we have cities all across the United States. We have booming economies. You mean to tell me when the white man is going through a Great Depression, we are booming in business? Goes to show you, man. Goes to show you. If I could, we built different. We are built different because our God made us a separate people. Go ahead, Osterwalk.
Good. What's so heavy about, you know what I'm saying, when you bring it out? You know what I'm saying? Like even with the Kyrie situation and Black Panther and like just dealing with Africans, I'm starting to notice our people is starting to like get it rubbed in their face that we not the same as the Africans. Like there's one African girl went viral for saying when the African Americans get mad when you tell them that they're different from us. Like somebody just went viral for that, and our people is losing their mind because they not understanding. But a lot of us start to understand like, nah, they not our people.
No,
we still don't know the Israel.
That's the thing. They know, and a lot of Israel is starting to wake up and realize that we are not the same. Like we're not. Like I don't want to sound ignorant up here. Y'all can correct me, but we can smell the difference. Like goddamn, like we believe in something called hygiene. We do. They don't believe in hygiene. You got to look at some of the practices that these Africans do. Like you got to really cross-examine some of the shit they do. So I can for the language. Like I bring this documentary up all the time that blew my mind when you put it up there. Sis, they eat each other in Africa. They do. They do. Like if you have fair skin, if you're an albino, they will eat you. They do that. We ain't eating fair skin, light skinned brothers and sisters over here, man. You good, Chris. You all right. You ain't got to look around. I'm joking. But understand this. That's what they do. And we're not the same. Hell, one of the first things the Lord told us when we came out of Egypt, what did he tell us? Don't do after the Egyptians. They run down there if the sisters can't have a baby and grab crocodile feces and rub it down there in your private areas. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing none of that. That is not our custom. That's why the Lord said that we are a holy people, separate, set apart. Keep going.
Unto the Lord thy God.
Uh-huh.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
I'll get to you. The Lord thy God has chosen us to be a special people. Another thing that I want to address too, man, is especially a problem, you know what I mean, with Israel. We have this issue where we like to look at other brothers and sisters like we're each other's opposition, like we're ops. You know what I'm talking about, Ashtawak? Where they be like, oh, that's my op. First of all, man, your brother could never be your op. Your sister can never be your op. We were conditioned to think that we are enemies, and we are not. Black, Latino, man, and woman, nosotros somos familia. We are family. The Lord made us to be a special people. But we got to start realizing that you need to stop hating on that fellow brother and sister, man. You got to stop believing, man, that we are each other's enemy. We are family. And the last thing the oppressor wants us to do is to come back together. That's why the scriptures tell us in Zephaniah 2:1 to gather ourselves together, yea, gather together. Because what you're going to find out is you got too much animosity saying, oh, he think he that nigga. Oh, she thinks she that. Oh, he think of that. Nah, I'm explaining something to you in terms that everybody can understand. Black, Latino, First Nation, man and woman, we are them niggas. We them niggas as a collective, man. We're the people that the Lord chose to be special. Read on.
Oh God. Unto himself.
Unto himself. Read on.
Above all people.
Above the oppressor.
All people.
Above the African.
All people.
Above all people. We are above all people. And it goes to show you how we know we're above all people. Like we was talking about them Africans, right? They love to say, well, the Ugandan and Nigerian and Liberian women, they go to college and do this. I'm just going to say one thing for my Black and Latina sisters. Black and Latina sisters sent the white man to the moon. Let that sink in for a minute. Let that sink in for a second. Sisters from the ghetto, from the barrio, sent the oppressor to the moon. Like that's not hard to y'all. Like that's not an amazing flex. Like where is the Ugandan woman that's doing that? Where's the Algerian LeBron James at? Where? Where's the white LeBron James at? I hear you. You mean to tell me, get a little carnal, you mean to tell me out of 17,000 active NBA players, there's only 2 good white ones? And y'all know who them 2 good ones are. But they average compared to us. Same thing in the MLB with baseball. Same thing with football. Same thing in the science world. Like you got to look up, man, like all the inventions that so-called Blacks and Latinos created, just to name a few. A Black man made the computer. A Black man made potato chips, Chris. Like, where is the chip money at? Like, where is the restitution for the chip money? Like a sister made the folding chair. A sister also made the, you know what I mean, the modern day washer. A sister also made GPS. Which ain't surprised me, you know what I mean? Sisters making GPS. That's, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't. But understand this. The system that they use right now for GPS, a Black woman did that. Let that sink in. Every major invention, the traffic light, the home phone and cell phone, we made that because the Lord made us to be a special people above all people. And it's not, I need y'all to understand something that's heavy. The Lord also said that if he'd have chose anybody else, they'll be serving him to this day. But we have to realize, man, what makes us the salt of the earth is the fact that the Most High did choose us. That's why we got to come out of being stiff-necked and realize, man, that we got to come back to our identity because we're above everybody. I know it may seem like because we're in these ghettos, we're in these barrios, we're on these concentration camps called reservations, but we are special Latino man and woman, Black man and woman. And understand this. That's why it is imperative, I beseech you, brethren and sisters, that we have to come back to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why it's important to tune into these classes, man, to tune into Black Watch, General Hyman's class, and all of these classes that's being broadcast through the UPK all across the earth, because we are the real priests and prophets of God. And you got a lot of wicked brothers out here that is trying to throw monkey wrenches in the game that General Hyman is going to break down a little later. Because what we have to realize, man, outside of here is death. Like if you make it in here, You come into these classes, or you just tuning in online, you just escaped death. You escaped that bullet. You escaped whatever was coming to you. I say it all the time, man. Playing with our God, man, it's like playing Russian roulette with a fully loaded gun. You're really playing with your life. That's why it's important, man, to change your life. God made us to be special above all people that is upon the face of the earth. That's why it is important, man, to realize that we have a job to do. What is that job? Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10. Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10. Young man, Chris, you can read it for me. Because the thing is, right here, also, let me get Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. Let me get Proverbs 3 and verse 31 first. The problem is we look at American society, right? Like, especially around this time, Officer Danielle, you looking at, oh, I got to get ready for Christmas. I got to get ready for Thanksgiving. Why the hell are you? And some of y'all did it. I'm not talking about nobody in the truth or nobody in this classroom. But if you went out there and celebrated the mass genocide of our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Reuben, you are a traitor. You are a traitor to our God and our King, man. We have our holy days. We have feast days. We got the feast of the dedication, Hanukkah, coming up. Like, how can you be so evil? And it's not like we don't know. Like, they try to play dumb. I had a devil try to play dumb today. He was like, well, why don't you celebrate so-called Thanksgiving, Yediah? I'm like, because it commemorates the mass murder and genocide of my people. He was like, well, I didn't know that. I'm like, Bill, you know that. In Israel, you know it too. You know what our mothers and grandmoms say? This is what kills me. Well, you know, baby, it's the only time of the year where the family get together. And that's a damn shame. That is a damn shame that we can only get together on the last Thursday of November because the white man said so. Like, we got to do better than that. We have to do better than that, man. Goes to show you why we can't do those things. Like, they can get together and do that. You know what we need to do, Ashtawat? I'm going to start a new holiday. We're going to get together on every September 11th, and we're going to have a feast. Every September 11th, we're going to have a feast, and we're going to play games where we're going to play a game called Knocking Down the Towers, where I'm a blindfold Kalatnazar, spin him around 3 times, and then he's going to throw fastballs at 2 makeshift towers, and we're going to celebrate it every year. You'll probably look at me like I'm some evil man. That's how wicked and evil you look celebrating the mass genocide of our First Nation brothers and sisters, man. Could you imagine, Chris, if I went into the Museum of Jewish History, you know what I mean? Just going in there like this alone is going to be deemed anti-Semitic. I might not even get in the door. But just imagine if I went in there, you know what I mean, with a shirt that said Hitler was right. Could you imagine? Oh, they paint me like some evil man. That's what you look like trying to, you know what I mean, commemorate that cranberry sauce and that turkey. Alawat Panya, Barak, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
All right, get it on. I'll take your questions in the room and online. Whenever you have them, let's hear them, all right? Solid. Come on. I can't see it, but it's all right. Go ahead. Any questions in the room, please, young brother up front?
So my question is, how does this all end with them? Like, how does this all, come to us taking back the land and, stuff like that?
You're talking about them, you're talking about our oppressor, correct?
Yeah.
So in essence, what you're asking me about is, when will they receive judgment? When will they pay, right? I'm going to start it from the end and then take it all the way to victory for you. Here's the end. We're in the last days right now. Right now, when you watch the news and when you see things going on around you that seem like, times are as worse as they've ever been. Times are terrible. Worldwide plagues and death and destruction and war in the Middle East and earthquakes and storms and people hating each other and tumults among the people, meaning riots breaking out in various countries. There's one happening right now in China tonight, right now. Those things are the sign of the coming of our King. They're the sign of the times. So when you see them, you know that the end is near. So what will happen as we get even closer to the end? These signs will increase. And then finally, one day, what you'll see is war in the Middle East. Every nation will come down into the Middle East to take their position to take that part of the world. The Bible calls that the valley of decision. And nations upon nations will spill into that area of the world. Russia, China, America, and all of its allies. And Russia and all of its allies will come into the Middle East to fight great war in the Middle East. And of course, you know, there's oil in the Middle East. And the Middle East is the most precious real estate on the planet Earth. It's the land of Israel, or the Garden of Eden. And every country has wanted that land since all written time. They've wanted that land. Now there's oil there. And now there's a worldwide epidemic. And now people are hungry and they need money. And governments are falling for lack of money, which means they're going to have to go into the Middle East. Russia and America are against each other again because of the Ukraine. And Taiwan, because of Taiwan, China is against America. They'll have to go into the Middle East to get oil to supply their military machines. While that war is happening in the Middle East, while they're fighting each other in the Middle East, Christ is going to return. You're going to look up in the sky and every eye will see him. He'll be in the sky. To make you understand it better, think of America being invaded by flying saucers. Think of the movie with Will Smith in it, Independence Day. Think of that. Like, visualize it. Well, they're living their normal lives, and then they look up, and the chariots have returned. And that's going to happen in the Middle East. While they're fighting each other, Christ comes back in the sky. They stop fighting each other, and they all turn their weapons on Christ. In essence, when Christ comes back, it will bond them together. They'll make peace with each other because they'll have something that's very precious in life. They'll have a common enemy when Christ returns. So they'll stop fighting each other and they'll turn their weapons to fight Christ. That fight is going to last about 1 hour. After that fight, all of our adversaries will be dead. Those that are not dead will be dragged and put in chains to work cotton fields and sugarcane fields and to grow potatoes and corn and rice all throughout the planet Earth. They'll be put in slavery. The people that are on the space stations and are deep down in bunkers and in caves, they'll be dragged out of their hiding places and put into slavery. And then at that time, the Most High sends our King down to reward the men who stood with him before he returned. There are people that will follow Christ after he gets back. Everyone will then. Everyone will. But there's a reward for following him now, for standing with him now. On that day, those men receive crowns upon their heads because they stood so stiffly with our Lord in the earth. Once those men receive crowns, they're the new government of the planet Earth. They're the new senators, the new Congress, the new kings and queens of England. They're the new, governors and whatever. They rule the planet Earth. They're called the 144,000. They rule the earth. They put the entire planet under the subjection of the Most High, Christ, and the law of God. And then there'll be peace on earth. You understand? Next question. Young brother in the back. Officer in the back.
I have precepts what you just said.
Forget about it. Go ahead.
Look at Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
And there'll be peace on earth. That's how you get peace on earth. The reason that the earth is so terrible right now is because the wrong people are in charge. Everybody knows that come voting time, every voting season, when you don't like your neighborhood and you don't like your city, you know you need to vote someone else in office. The churches always come tell you, look, there are no jobs. Crime is too high. We need to elect a new mayor, a new president, a new governor. But why don't you look at the world and see that we need a new ruler of the planet Earth? Clearly, if you can tell we need a new mayor and a new governor, you can't tell the world needs a new king? The planet needs someone else to be in charge? Forget about it. You. He has the Bible, or to be specific, the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible. That's all he believes in, right? Some of them believe in what they call the Tanakh, which is the rest of the Old Testament, excluding the Apocrypha, which is part of the Old Testament. But their main teaching comes from something called the Talmud. The Talmud are books of rabbis who explain what's in the Bible. That's the best way to understand it. You got the Bible right there, the first 5 books. There's some rabbi that said, this is what Genesis 5 means. This is what Leviticus 10 means. Like, for instance, in the Old Testament, it says to put the law upon thy eyelids and put it over your door and put it in your heart. The Talmud tells them to go put a little picture of the law on their door and to wear a picture of the law on their head right here. And they wear a little box. You can get a video of it if you want, because that's what that rabbi said that means. But of course, it's not talking about that. It's a metaphor for live your life with the law being foremost in your heart, foremost in what you see. Make sure that your home has the law in your home. But the rabbi said it means to put a little book on top of your forehead. And so it's all like that. The Talmud is really what they follow. The Talmud, because the Talmud explains the Bible, and that's what they believe in, the Talmud. All right? Come on.
If I could, recently, because of all the controversy, it
Right.
made some Jewish people brave enough to, talk to us again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I was talking to this Jewish girl, and I'm destroying what she's talking about.
Of
I'm
course.
basically asking her Jewish people Caucasian? I'm like, y'all from Russia, y'all from Poland, y'all from all these places, y'all Caucasian? And she's like, yeah, we're Caucasian. So I'm like, okay. So I asked her who's Edom. At first she wouldn't tell me. And then she told me that the rabbis say that Edom is the Romans. So I'm like, what the hell is we talking about? And then I found video footage of them saying that Esau is the Romans and the Europeans.
I mean, it makes no sense, of course. You can't be 2 races, right? Just like black people cannot be African and Israelite. You can't be 2. The so-called white man, our oppressor, cannot be a Jew and a European. He cannot be a Jew and Caucasian. He is only one. He's Caucasian. And that's that. All right. That's how life is. You can't have it all. Right. Question. Anything else? Please.
I got a question on Numbers chapter 19, verse 12. What does he shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day mean?
Read a little bit of it for me, please.
I'm on count. Verse 11.
Please, wherever your question is.
This is Numbers chapter 19, verse 11. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. Verse 12. He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall be clean, shall not be clean.
The purify is talking about bathing, washing. That's the purify. All right. It was think about it. You're unclean. You take a shower before you come back around people again. Right. You've been through a time where you've been sick, or you've had sex, or you've had a disease. Before you come back around people, wash. The Israelites invented hygiene, invented washing hands, invented washing cooking vessels, invented washing your body. Before us, the Europeans would eat out of their grandfather's skulls as bowls. Go look that up. That's what they did. Somebody would die, the body would just die right there. As it decayed, they take the skull and use it as a bowl. They had all kinds of uses for human skulls, and even societies began to worship that time in their life, like the like pirates and the Skull and Bone Society, because they would just take bones out and use them like tools and use them like bowls, and they had no idea how many people were going to die because they didn't wash. The Israelites invented hygiene, and here you are right here reading about it. All right, next. Please, young brother.
I started following what they call it, ADL.
Mm-hmm.
And lately I've been seeing their posts, and it seems like they're gearing up for something. Like, what would you foresee with them? Because it seems like they have a lot of pull on them.
Oh, they got tons of pull. They got a whole lot of pull. They've had a lot of pull, way before 1969. They got their own country in the Middle East. I know you heard of them, right? Israel. Before 1945, they didn't have a country. Then by 1948, they had their own country in the Middle East with nuclear weapons, and now they're a superpower in a little tiny country, and they control the entire Middle East because, of course, their allies are all of the Western countries, right? So what are they gearing up for? This is what they're gearing up for. They're gearing up for asking white people for more money every day to donate to them, and that's all they're gearing up for. This is a big myth in society. There's a big myth that you have something to worry about for doing the right thing. Like now, Jewish people are gearing up to do something. The police are gearing up to do something. There's about to be martial law. You've heard that before? All of this danger is coming if you wake up. If you wake up, things are going to be dangerous because the police are doing something, the military, FEMA camps, all kinds of scary things up. When in actuality, you're going to die because you're going to get shot on your block for nothing. It won't be the Jewish people. It'll be your cousin or something like that, or your wife, right? Or, an argument over what, maybe some people argue about a parking space, right? I guess, or you're going to die out because you're in darkness, not because there's some plot from Jewish people to stop people from waking up. Waking up is the only way you'll live. And of course, in the Israelite School of UPK, you can imagine how much attention we get from groups like that. Here I am drinking the scotch. I'll be here next week if you're here, all right? I'll always just be here drinking the scotch. All right, no matter what people plan or what they want to do or what they think about doing, here we are, and we're always here. And I've seen a lot of them go. A whole ton of people that were so threatening and gearing up to do things. And then they're gone. And here we are. Anything else?
Sister says, Slucky, I don't know if I make it. I got to break down the 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 1 through 3. Show.
Go ahead.
1 Samuel chapter 3 and verse 1. And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious.
Is there a specific question about this?
General breakdown, sir, about I believe when the Lord was calling out to Samuel, Eli told him to lay down.
You better give me a little more. I can't recall.
Come, sir. Was precious in those days, and there was no open vision. And when it came to pass at the time when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And Aaron, the lamp of God, went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid to sleep. Verse 4, the Lord.
Is that your question, or is it something else?
That's the question. Verse,
she just wants me to explain this to her.
Come.
No particular part.
Allah.
All right, read it again.
Come, sir. From verse 1.
Go wherever you start, wherever the question is, you can read that.
It's verses 1 through 3.
Okay, go ahead and 1.
1 Samuel chapter 3 and verse 1. And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision.
Maybe she wants that part. The word of the Most High was precious in those days. There was no open vision. What is that? First of all, you need to deal with the word of the Most High was precious in those days. You want to think about a time when to hear the word of God is rare because there's so much darkness in the world. We're in a time like that. Now it's getting better because the Israelite School of UPK is growing stronger and stronger in might and in influence and in power. But man, you can imagine a time a little while ago, where, it was so rare to find a brother from the UPK. You had to walk by him on the street corner. There was no other way to find the truth. You had to work at a job that made you pass by this corner. And if you didn't work there or have a reason to walk by that bus stop, you were not going to find the UPK. Come on up. And then you got to leave just to go find us. It was extremely hard to find the truth at one time. It was so difficult. The word of the Lord was rare. Why? Read that last part again.
Sir. And the word of the Lord was precious.
It was precious. Keep going.
In those days.
Go ahead.
There was no open vision.
What does it mean? There was no open vision, meaning you couldn't see it. There wasn't prophets of God everywhere, schools of prophets teaching people. There wasn't synagogues built up where people were learning and going in the law of Moses and understanding it. It was just hard to find the truth. There was no open vision. Like the truth was not out in the open. You get what that term means, right? In the open means it's right in front of you. Now the truth comes out of your damn eyelids. You get a phone, here's the UPK right here. You get a TV, here's the UPK. It's right in front of you. But that was not always like that. You can imagine what it was like 5,000 years ago. With the Romans and the Assyrians and all of the heathens that were teaching our people to take on their culture and to give up our law. And it was hard to find the truth. There was no open vision, meaning a prophet standing there and giving you the vision of God in the open. Everyone understands. Anything else? You want a precept for that? You just pull, behold, thy prophets have become like foxes in the wilderness. That's a precept for that. All right, foxes running and hiding, which is what foxes are good at, which is why they had fox hunts, because you couldn't find a fox. You had to send 30 dogs to go find a fox because a fox was good at hiding. Well, there was a time when your prophets were like those foxes, hidden. You couldn't find them. There was no open vision. So when you found it, it was precious. Anything else? 1 second. We done here or not? Good. You up, brother.
What specifically should be done on the Sabbath? I'm sorry, I'm just worried.
Ask whatever you want, no problem. No sweat. The Sabbath, this is what specifically should be done on the Sabbath. Your boss should leave you alone and stop trying to make you work on Saturday. That's what should be done on the Sabbath. That's what should be done. There's a giant misconception about the Sabbath because of the Talmud, because of what our oppressor that calls himself a Jew teaches about the Sabbath day. The so-called oppressor that calls himself a Jew, he teaches that you cannot flick that light on the Sabbath day. You cannot turn a light switch on. You cannot cook food. You cannot push the button on an elevator. That's a fact. He teaches you cannot do that. So what does he do? He hires black people to cut on his lights, cook his food, and push the elevator buttons. Right here in this city, in University of Pennsylvania, there's a Sabbath elevator. You want to Google it? Google it. They have a Sabbath elevator in that hospital. And that's an elevator that a little black woman will be on there pushing a button for Jewish people on Saturday, because it's the Sabbath elevator, and they have it all over the country. I'm just bringing up this city because it's the one you're in, but that's everywhere, because they teach that if you're Jewish, you can't do anything that's considered work in any way. And the Talmud says turning on a light switch, hitting a microwave button, turning on your stove is unlawful. That is not true. What's unlawful on the Sabbath? It's unlawful for your boss to make you come in. That's what's unlawful. It's wrong. He can't do it. It's a national, or what you would call a federal law that prohibits jobs from making you work. Doesn't that sound familiar? You're sitting right here in America where no boss could make you work on give me something. What just happened? Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a what? National holiday. Thanksgiving is a national holy day. Holiday. That's where the term comes from. Holiday is holy day. America makes Thanksgiving the Sabbath. And what are the rules for Thanksgiving? Is there a rule about what you can cook, or is there a rule about anything on Thanksgiving? There's one rule, brother. Young brother, right here. Yeah, come. No, behind you. Say again? Well, it's highly encouraged, but it's not a rule. But there is a rule, and a federal holiday, there's a rule. No one can force you to go to work. So that's what federal holiday means. No one can force you. No one could say, well, if you don't come in on Thanksgiving, you got to get fired because we're open on Thanksgiving. No one could do that. Do they still find a way to make you work? Yes, they find a way to make you work, but in some way they'll work that out and it won't even be wrong. It'll be totally legal and lawful in America. But federal holiday means everything is closed on this day. Well, the Sabbath, that's where that rule comes from. The Sabbath is your day. You can do whatever you want, but your boss can't make you do anything. That's the rule. That's the rule for the Sabbath. Come on.
I also heard that you can't buy or consume. I just heard.
Yeah, of course. You can't buy or consume. You can't buy. Yeah, you can't go to the store.
Okay, got it.
Right, on the Sabbath day. You cannot go to the store on the Sabbath day. That's a lie. That's from Jewish people who teach that, and then they send their little West Indian maid down to the store to get anything that they want to have on the Sabbath day. And you'll find somebody's aunt or grandma who works for them, and that's what they always do. That's not true. You can absolutely go buy on the Sabbath. You can do whatever you want to do on the Sabbath, but no boss can force you to do any servile work. Servile comes from the word servant, right? Servant work. What's servant work? Work you do for a living. Work you do for money. Work you do to feed your family. That's servant work. No one can force you to do that. You shall do no servile work. No one makes you work on the Sabbath. No one. In our kingdom, that's how it will be. Instead of having off on Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is a federal national holiday, and you won't be forced to work on those days, we'll have off once a week without fail. It'll be a national holiday every seventh day. That's the rule of the Sabbath. Please.
Sorry, I got something.
No, go ahead.
All right, is there a difference between this particular school and the other ones, like, for example, the ones that were like gold and purple?
Purple and gold.
Purple and gold.
Mhm.
Is there a difference or?
Oh, in every way, there's a difference.
Okay, got it.
The Israelite School of UPK is not affiliated or associated with any other Israelite group, Christian group, Muslim group, or political group. We don't affiliate or associate with anyone at all, period. And it's very important that the people that started our school back in 1969, they always taught us that. And because of that, it's one of our major rules in the school, because we can't verify that what they say is true. We can't verify that what they do is right. And for us to even be in this room with each other, we have to have trust that we can trust each other. And we're a family, we're brothers. And we're not one of them because we can't verify that what they're doing is brotherly, that what they're doing is righteous. So we don't associate ourselves with them. We don't know what in the hell they do. We know they're wrong about every possible thing in the world and can prove it, just like we can prove every Christian church is wrong about everything. But no, we have no association with the purple and gold ones. Is there any other ones? That's another thing. I've seen a ton of them come and go.
Yeah, I'm starting.
Yeah.
I know there's different colors. I'm starting to realize. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't do all the colorful ones. We don't do nothing about that. We don't associate with them because they're wrong in the Bible, and we can't verify that they can be trusted. But in here, we can verify that we can be trusted. We keep it as a rule of honor in here. You understand? Anything else? Oh, speaking of that, somebody called me from the IUIC this week after I did a class on the IUIC on Thursday. And of course, like clockwork, one of their members called me. They always do this. One of their members called me and told me just heinous garbage about them. Told me that they make each one of their members sign a non-disclosure agreement. And then sent me the non-disclosure agreement. Sent it to me, and here it is right here. The non-disclosure agreement. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm listening. And you could tell like they want to get this off their chest. And so they go to tell me about how they had to sign this paper that says they can't talk about their marriages, their courtships, their dating. I mean, they can't talk about a phone conversation that they had in the IUIC, or else they can be sued. Okay, if you want to see it, I'll show it to you later. All right. Okay, let me go on to the next topic. All right. Anything else? Come on.
If I could, I've been noticing how people starting to deal with mushrooms more.
Yeah. Yeah, mushroom. Go ahead.
Because, like, it's certain mushrooms I've seen, like some of them, like they good for like your brain and focus and all that. Like some people saying they help them after they had a stroke.
I got you.
They were starting to, get some more activity in their brain or whatever from like certain regular ones, but it's the psychedelic ones they taking. Because those are the ones that like Joe Rogan and different people popularize, and they say, oh, if you take a little bit of it, you know what I'm saying? They got all these benefits, but at the same time, you gotta be careful with our people. You know what I'm saying? Because our people are turn around and it's another way to be a drug addict and to escape reality. So I just wanted to know, like, what's a good way to like teach about like people trying to like microdose the psychedelic mushrooms or like take mushrooms, period.
Oh, what's the school's breakdown on it? Is that what you mean? Okay, there's always going to be a new drug every about 5 or 10 years because drug addicts eventually will grow a tolerance for whatever they're taking right now. So you're always going to need something more. And so after you already done sniffed all the cocaine in the world, smoked all the weed. I remember when weed was for glaucoma. Who remembers that? Y'all not young enough for that. It was like weed. Whenever they want to make a drug popular, they make up some medicinal reason to take it. Who did it first? Cocaine and heroin. Look up, Alexa, what is a heroin?
Heroin, also known as diacetylmorphine and diamorphine.
No, Alexa, stop.
Is a potent
Alexa, stop. Alexa, in Greek mythology, what is a heroine?
From educalingo.com. A heroine is a woman praised for its courage, innovative achievements, and distinctive qualities.
And there was a time when they would say, this drug is so helpful. It's a heroine. It will save you. This drug, it will make you so excited. It's cocaine. It's for excitement. And it make you feeling vigorous. And we'll put it in a soda drink so everybody can drink Coca-Cola. And it's good for medicinal purposes. Once again, we've been around a long, long time. I've just seen everything. Everything. I remember when weed was for glaucoma. That's what it was really for. It was for glaucoma. Anytime they want to market a drug to sell it to you, they start to talk about how it has some good medicinal purpose. Cigarettes. Alexa, at one time, did doctors recommend for pregnant women to smoke cigarettes?
Here's something I found on healedhand.com. Smoking lowers your chances of getting pregnant, which is why
Alexa, stop. Google this. She might be able to find it. Back in the 50s, you know how women get morning sickness? Doctors told women smoke cigarettes because it settles your stomach, your diet.
Officer Bunt said that meth was originally used in weight loss pills.
That's how meth was a weight loss pill. Throughout, but I forgot about that. It was going to help you sisters lose weight. And it was a miracle weight loss pill. Methamphetamine. It was speed and it sped you up. And it was so great and wonderful and good. Now here we go with the damn mushrooms. Here we go again. Now these mushrooms, what do they do for you? Cure cancer, I guess, right? Mushrooms are going to do something wonderful for you. What I would educate young brothers and sisters on is see if Joe Rogan sells any mushrooms or has any money in mushroom companies or in weed dispensaries or in things like that, because most of it is just someone trying to get you to try it based on the medicinal purpose. Because once you try it, because it helps you with your, diabetes, you're going to be hooked on it and you'll have to have it, which is what they did with Oxycontin. Oxycontin was really a miracle painkiller. That's what it was. It just really helped people in pain crisis. Oh, it was so great. And they know that once you try it, you're going to be a return customer until all of your family is dead. But brothers and sisters, stop looking for a reason to get high. Stop trying to escape reality. Change your reality. Change it. Your life is miserable. It's a miserable hell. I know it is. I used to be in it. It's a miserable, sick hell. And you feel like there's so many problems that you cannot fix. Problems that you were just born in, or traumas that you just went through, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so because of that, you go to cigarettes, weed, and alcoholism, and pills and cocaine and heroin and methamphetamine and everything, because it almost lets you cope with your terrible life. The drugs are why you are not fixing your life. You could fix it. You could fix every problem, even the child molestation, even the rape, even not having any family, even foster care. Every problem you had, it could be fixed, but you have to be present in the moment of the problem. You have to be sitting in it, living in it, awake, and then you can fix it. And if you don't know how, you in the UPK, we know everything. All you have to do is come here. If you're alert and awake, we can show you how to do it. Everyone understands. Come on. Come on. Come on.
It's so heavy when you bring it out, and that's what I like when I'm looking at people talk about the mushrooms or whatever, and even like sometimes people argue, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, you really just seem like a drug addict that you just happy that they gave you an excuse to take it. Like you already was smoking weed, doing everything. It's like this is a new thing I can do, but it's benefits. But at the same time, you try to do the one that make you get high. It's other ones that don't make you get high. But it's now it's like, oh, if you take a little bit of it, you know, you feel it a little bit, and then it's good for you. It's like at the same time, it's like, bro, you just finding the new drug. It's a new thing for you to do.
It's a terrible thing. And a lot of these women can't get no sex because of these drugs, too. A lot of these women are, because of these, brother is constantly high and always high. Then when it comes down, your body, I mean, the Most High is so amazing in how he engineered the human body. The human body gets pleasure from work, from something that's hard. Imagine you go out and play games or basketball or football or exercise, and that feeling you get like, I got to work off some steam. I got a bolt of adrenaline from physical labor, something physical. The Most High made that so that the human body could enjoy work. It could enjoy plowing a field and chopping down a tree, or inventing some new invention that made you stay up all night and work your hands till they bled to do it, where you'll receive pleasure because of hard work. And then here comes the drug that rewires your pleasure sense. So now you get pleasure from doing nothing. And then here your woman is, she needs your sweat. I pray you understand. She needs you to get up on your goddamn feet and sweat. But the video game is on and the blunt is right there, so you're going to have to go to sleep tonight, baby. If that's how you want to live, that's up to you. Me, myself, I chose a different path. Any other questions?
Brother says, "Sluck, yes, sir. Can I get a general breakdown of 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 9 and 12?
Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 8, verse 9. But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
Skip above it a taste. See me one more time, Danielle. This is 1 Corinthians 14. Say again.
1 Corinthians 8, sir.
8. Is this about eating the food sacrificed unto other gods? All right. He wants to break down just on this part right here, right?
Verses 8, verses 9, and specifically verse 12. Read 9 and verse 12. Sir.
Read not 9 to 12, correct?
No, this verse 9 and 12.
Read 9.
Oh God. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 8, verse 9. But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
The liberty he's speaking about is Paul giving brothers the freedom to eat meats offered unto another god, as long as they don't believe in that God. For instance, turkey is just turkey to us in the truth. It's not, something that's integral in our family and our family coming together and the family, and we love each other because we eat a turkey. That's not what a turkey is to someone in the truth. To us, it's just a turkey. So if there's a turkey in the house, we'll just eat the damn turkey. If there's a sweet potato in the house, we'll just eat the sweet potato because we don't have any feeling for the sweet potato, like it brings families together, and our family love is based in sweet potatoes. Come on.
Isn't that like, if you're going to a halal place, you're eating the food, but you don't show like.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. Give her a hand. That's perfect. You might go, you might go to a halal place, a kosher Jewish kosher deli or something like that. I'm fine, Warrior. You don't believe in any of that garbage they believe in, but you think the corned beef is good or the damn halal food is good, and to you it's just food. Well, it could be the same thing with the turkey that you live with your mother. She celebrates Thanksgiving, you don't. You're not sitting around the table holding hands praying to some oppressor about turkey. You go in the refrigerator, if turkey is in there, you eat some damn turkey and let that be that and shut your mouth about it. Because to you it's just turkey. What Paul is saying, you have liberty to just eat, even though the turkey has been sacrificed to a false god. And if you went out and celebrated Thanksgiving, you worshiped a strange god, and you made a sacrifice to a strange god. That you worship the god that the white man, that the oppressor worshiped when he murdered the North American Indians. He prayed to a god. Give me George Washington's Declaration of Thanksgiving. George Washington is the first president to declare Thanksgiving a national holiday, and he declared it. And you should read his declaration and see what he thought about Thanksgiving. So those of you who are Black and Hispanic and so-called North American Indian, you know the truth about Thanksgiving. You know that at this exact same time, Black people were in slavery. The West Indians, the Haitians were in slavery. And the North American Indian had been murdered to celebrate this day. Some people might not realize this, that there was a meal for Thanksgiving. The so-called North American Indian showed the so-called pilgrims how to hunt, where the venison was, where the turkey was, where all of the different foods that got them through the winter. Those foods were provided to our oppressor by our brothers, the chosen people of God, the tribe of Gad or the North American Indians. They brought all the food to a feast, gave it to our oppressor. The oppressor said, damn, we thought we were going to starve to death this winter. Where'd you get this from? Oh, man, listen, follow that trail down there to the river. That's how you can find any deer when deer are drinking water. Follow this over there to turkeys. Follow that over there to this. And they ate this meal. 2 days later, they killed everyone that came to the feast. They went back to where the Gadites stayed. 2 days later, you might in your mind think, they killed them, next year or over time. Brother, 2 days after the feast, they killed them all. And then said this. Please read it.
Colonel McCobb, by the President of the United States of America, whereas it's the duty of all nations to acquire knowledge of the providence of the Almighty God, to obey his will, and to be grateful and be humbly to implore his protection of favor.
But think how much he's talking about God, the Almighty God, the duty of all nations to acquire knowledge. And they learned how to survive the winter from the North American Indian, how to find food in this strange land they were in. And they knew that the Almighty God helped them. The Almighty God was on their side when they murdered those brothers and sisters and their children. Keep going.
Sir. And whereas both House of Congress have by their joint committee requested me to recommend to the people of the United States a day of Thanksgiving.
A day of Thanksgiving. They were thankful. They appreciated it. They thought they were going to die in the winter. Meanwhile, they found these suckers that showed them where the food was. They killed them, so now all the food belonged to them. Because imagine, if they don't kill the North American Indian, then they have to share the food with them. And you got to think like an oppressor. To him, that's crazy. Because his children will eat better if your children don't eat at all. And so he killed all of them, thereby ensuring his safety in the winter. Now he didn't have to share the deer with the North American Indian. All the deer were his, and the Indians were in the ground dead. And he was thankful for it. He thanked the Almighty God for it. Keep going.
And prayer to be observed by acknowledging with grateful hearts, you know what I mean, and final favors of the Almighty God, especially for affording them an opportunity peaceably to establish a form of government.
What kind of government? Peaceably. That's in the Declaration. Affording them peaceably. Now, this is very hard to understand when you're reading what oppressors write, because you're sitting looking like the same way in the Constitution where it says all people are created equal. If you're black, you'll go, well, how in the hell is that? Well, right here, he's saying they made this government peacefully. What does he mean by that? Who can guess? Here's a hint. He's not talking about killing the North American Indian. He's saying that they didn't have to fight each other. That white people made this government peacefully. We didn't have to kill each other over, not having food or fighting each other. God gave us the food. So now we all have food. Every white person here has food. We're fine. God did it for us. And the Indians are dead. And they were thankful for it. Now, here's my question to you. What God is that? Who is that talking about? He's thanking some God. It is not the God of the children of Israel in the Bible. It's not the God of the North American Indians, but he's thanking somebody's God. That is the God you sacrifice to when you celebrate Thanksgiving. That George Washington's God, the God he thanked when he was able to murder those people and keep all of the food to themselves. But what God is that? That's the God of Thanksgiving. It is not the God of the Bible. It is not the God of love and peace and kindness and justice. It is not that God. That's the God of the Bible. This is the God that rewards murderers for cruelty. And that is who you sacrifice to. That is who you thanked on Thanksgiving. Does everyone understand? Well, if you're eating that turkey, it's the offering to another God. To you. To us, it's a turkey. We're not praying over it. We're not going to no goddamn, Thanksgiving feast and sitting around and talking to your child molester. I wonder how some of you handle that. You sisters, do you know women who go to family gatherings and the man that molested them is at the gathering? Raise your hand if you've ever heard of that before. See, that's rough. That's a rough deal. And so you got to sit there in front of it. I mean, that is the craziest thing in the world. Like the mother and the family, if you don't come, would your family be angry with you? So your family, if you say, well, Ma, I don't want to come and pass mashed potatoes with the person that molested me, your mom would be angry with you, or grandmom or somebody. Am I right or wrong? That is wild, man. I mean, it's just something. It is so peculiar to me how families work in the world. I mean, how people are even in them. I don't even understand it. Anyway, moving on. To us, it's just turkey. You want to go downstairs and eat a turkey sandwich, do it. You understand? You want to go to your mom's house, go in the refrigerator, open up all that aluminum foil, snatch you out some of that turkey, eat up, enjoy it. It's just a turkey. Now, but here's the problem. Keep reading. Now read the verse they asked about.
This book of 1 Corinthians 8, verse 12. But when ye sin so against the brethren and wound them.
I'm sorry, go back up to the one about the liberty.
This book of 1 Corinthians 8, verse 9. But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
Take heed means to watch. Because here's the problem. What if someone sees you eating that turkey, and because you're eating turkey, they think they can celebrate Thanksgiving? You have to be careful about that. It's a burden being in the UPK. It's a burden that some young men can't handle. Because now you know this, that because I rock this shield and represent the ISUPK, I'm with Commanding General Yohana, people will look at me and say, oh, if he does it, it must be right in the Bible. Or if she does it, it must be right to God. So then they see you eating a turkey dinner, especially when now you got social media. So now if you go post a picture of all the food you cooked yesterday, full of turkey wings and stuffing and mashed potatoes, then people will go, oh, Thanksgiving is okay to celebrate, because they're ignorant. They don't understand that you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but your mom dropped this plate off, or you went to your mom's house and there was some food in the refrigerator. They don't get it. So they'll think because they see you eating that food that they can go to their mom's house and hold hands with their child molester and celebrate Thanksgiving. So you have to watch and be careful. And if that will make someone think it, then don't eat that turkey sandwich. Don't touch it. Leave it alone, because God forbid someone might think that you celebrate Thanksgiving, and then they will die because you led them astray because you didn't take heed. You weren't careful. Come on.
And my cousin, sir, this is a personal story around last year. My mother almost got me, sir.
Oh boy.
She was like, well, you die, come down, you come out your apartment and help me take some stuff out the car. I was like, yeah, what you got? She said, well, I just need you to take the Christmas tree out.
That's all. Just do me a quick favor. Yeah, you gotta watch them up. They slick as they can be. And what you'll find is that, okay, a lot of your parents, even the ones that you think love you, and when I say this, understand this, that they do love you in their way. There's a way that people in the world love you, but it is not real love. But it is their capacity to love. And most people in the world, their capacity to love is wrapped around holidays. They really cannot show love unless it's your birthday, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's New Year's Eve. They can't do it. And so if you're looking at them like, well, Mom, why don't you just make a turkey April 15th. Make a turkey. I'm gonna come over there and tear that bird from limb to limb. And then your mother will not make that turkey on April 15th. She will not do it. You'll say, Mom, I'm gonna come over there, I'm gonna bring the kids. Just make the turkey June 9th. Here I come. Your mother is not going to make that turkey, sister.
So I'm usually the one that cooks for Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, no, I'm not the one that, I was like, so oh, wait, I already got my bowls, I already got my food, I'm on my way. I said, I think you got food in your food. She was like, why are you not celebrating Thanksgiving? I said, I'm learning new stuff, and I'm coming to reality.
Damn right.
She was like, oh my goodness. Don't tell me. I heard, but I ain't
Uh-huh.
She was like, you ain't celebrating Christmas? That means I ain't getting my pocketbook. Excuse me. You mad because I decide I'm not supposed to spend 3 days cooking when I normally cook anyway?
Uh-huh.
You're mad because you can't bring the whole pan over to my house, tear up my house, eat up everything, and leave with 4 days worth of food.
I hear that.
Because I'm learning the truth, and I'm studying. And girl, you ain't learning the truth. You just come to church. Let them. I said, well, your church is the mob.
Give her a hand. You're right. Give her another hand. Absolutely, sister. Well done. That's it. You'll really know, you'll really learn about love and your family's love when you don't do the thing that our oppressor has forced them to do to prove love. And without that thing, so many of them don't know how to express love. Don't know what to do now, because now they just have to, eat with you because they love you. They just come see you because they love you. They just give you a gift because they love you, which they could do any day, right? They can just hand you that purse, can't they? They can just say, here's a purse. Why? For nothing. Because I love you, because you're my daughter, because you're great. They could just hand you the purse, but they can't. And you'll find that out once you get free. But of course, getting free from so-called holidays opens you up to a world that is absolutely outstanding. Absolutely. All right. Please, young brother.
Can you tell me Hanukkah, that counts as a holiday, or is it?
Hanukkah, in the truth, is a day of remembrance, and we absolutely remember it, and we keep the remembrance of it, and we keep the tradition of it. It is not a high holy day, meaning if we were in charge of this planet, it would not be a Sabbath. It would not be a national holiday. It would not be a day where no one could work, but it would absolutely be a day of remembrance that everybody thinks about and participates in, but it's not a Sabbath. It's not a day where a boss could not make you work. But in the UPK, we absolutely, keep Hanukkah the Hanukkah tradition and get it on in here. And the brothers can explain it to you about the different traditions that are associated with Hanukkah, or Hanukkah to be correctly pronounced. Come on.
If I could, what's so heavy about, the holiday, and you just saying, like, it's tied to the way that we love is that's showing that we always gonna have that tie to the oppressor. And most of these holidays are so-called Christian holidays, but the Bible tell you not to celebrate none of the holidays that they celebrate. So it's like you being an hypocrite and you mad at us for going into the same book, like she said. They tell her come to church. Why don't you just come to church? And she's into the Bible, and the Bible told her not to do it.
Let me tell you, it's so much I can. Okay, giving up Christmas and Thanksgiving. If you can hold it, and I mean hold it for the rest of your life, like the officer said, not helping your mother bring a tree in the house. The tree sitting there tied to the damn car. Mom, I can't help you with that. I can't help with anything. I can't support this in any way. If you can hold it, it changes your mind in such a way that, okay, it's so deep and it unravels everything. Because really, people love Christmas and people love Thanksgiving because in their mind, it's attached to love. The good times you had growing up. And most of you had terrible times except for Christmas. And then some of you, even on Christmas, that's when you argue the most and fight the most. But you still do it because it's still more love this day than on other days. Now, why is there more love? Why does our oppressor say, this is the day you can love? This is the day you're allowed to love your children and your wife? Because it benefits him. Because he profits. Of the farming industry probably would have to shut down if not for Thanksgiving. The white farmers, and there are almost zero black farmers. Zero. I think there were 240,000 at the at the end of the Civil War. Now I think there's 10 or some ridiculous number of black farmers. There are virtually none. Used to be all of the cowboys were Mexicans, vaqueros. Now it's like none of them are Mexican at all. Now all these white ranchers own everything. But those farms would die if not for government support. And the government forces everyone to go buy, 10 billion turkeys or some ridiculous number of turkeys and potatoes and sweet potatoes. And you're keeping every farmer rich. And there are no black farmers virtually. And why do you love Christmas? Because they benefit from your Christmas purchases, from your, what's the one that's happening tomorrow? Cyber Tuesdays. Is it Tuesday or Cyber? What is it? Cyber Monday, from your Black Friday, from all of your credit cards going in debt so that you can show your child that you're worth something. So your child can love you. Because if you don't get this gift, your child hates you. Forget about the food and the lights and the water and the clothes. If you don't get this video game, your child will hate you forever. Why? Because you hated your mother if she didn't get it for you. And your father, because he didn't come around on Christmas. Your father was a piece of garbage. Why? He didn't bring you that bike on Christmas. So he's nothing and a piece of garbage. And you hate him for it. So now it all attaches to love in your mind because it benefits them. And here is how it starts to unravel. It benefits them because they're rich. And my whole life is about pleasing rich people. Everything I do, everything about me is just me doing what a rich man wants me to do. And when you start going there, you're going to wake up something rough. And how everything you do, everything. They came out with a story this week how Balenciaga had some type of child pedophilia commercial, a bun.
Yeah, kids posing with teddy bears. And the teddy bear, the kid was holding like they said it was like the gag and the ball gag and stuff like that, like BDSM stuff around the child with the teddy bear with the all the guard, sexual guard and stuff on it. The child.
I mean, sexualizing the child to sell Balenciaga, which I'm assuming is clothes or something.
Italian fashion design.
Italian luxury shirts and things. Luxury clothing. Raise your hand, no sis. Go ahead.
But they, whatever they As soon as they say it.
What they making for?
Even more.
What they making for some black people? You know that, don't you?
The virtual.
Shalom, give her a hand. That's all. And that now that when your brain starts to go, well, how much in my life is just pleasing rich people, just making sure. Like Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee, that was great until Jay-Z said it wasn't great anymore. And now we're singing the national anthem because Jay-Z is rich, and that is why the IUIC went down to defend poor Kyrie Irving. Why? Because they would do that for anyone that wakes up to the knowledge of them being an Israelite. Because that's what they do for all those other purple idiots sitting in there. Would they go down to their job and make sure that their boss didn't fire them? Would they walk into a factory in Atlanta and say, don't fire my employee, he's in the IUIC. We're going to put 10 million men down here to make sure you don't fire him. Would they do that? No, they would not do it, which is what the cat told me today on the phone. They wouldn't do it. But what would they do? Kyrie Irving is rich, which means his life is more important than yours. He can't go on the front line. We can go on the front line. His life is too important for him to go on the front line. And your entire life is about rich people. Everything you do, rich people sell mushrooms. Rich people have weed dispensaries. Rich people sell weed, make the money from weed. Everything in your life is serving them and never serving yourself. Never helping you, never going into your community, never fixing your problems, but you do fix the problems of rich men. Rich men, wait till after Christmas this year. Oh, and I can feel they're going to have a good Christmas this year. You can already feel it revving up. Some years I can feel it like I could feel Thanksgiving this year. Thanksgiving, you could feel it. That old blind nigga came out with that Candy Yam song. What's the one? Fetty Wap came out with that song about candy yams or something. You could feel it it was revving up like, oh, yams, candy yams, candy yams, candy yams. And they had a hell of a time. Ooh, they had a successful Thanksgiving. It made rich men got healthy. They paid their bills. They were able to keep their bills up. Everything went well. And here they come with Christmas. Ooh, and they are going to have a gigantic one. They're going to push it. It won't help you because your life is going to go down the tubes because of the money you spend on Christmas. But rich men are going to look at their balance sheet at the end of Christmas. The news will tell you about it. This year was record sales. This year, they did record this. That's telling you that you did the right thing, the poor niggers. Keep up the good work. Rich people just bought another yacht today because you're stupid. Who had their hand up? Please. It was one other thing about rich people that happened this week. It was a Balenciaga, the IUIC. Come on.
Now, I was going to say, what's so heavy about them marching down for Kyrie and being such support of that brother, it was like, when Trayvon Martin died, they went on the streets and shamed that brother for being black and going to the store and getting murdered. Like, they shamed that brother for just...
For y'all, those of you that don't know, when Trayvon Martin got killed years ago, the IUIC went out in the street and said, it's good that Trayvon Martin got shot. They should have shot him. The white man told him to stop. Why didn't he stop? That's a quote. It's on YouTube. That's a quote. Well, Trayvon Martin should have earned more money in his young life, and he would have got more support from the IUIC. He should have worked on his jump shot, because then they would have sent everyone down there to make sure that he did not get fired. The UPK, we defend the poor.
Right.
You understand me? The poor, the suffering, the victims of white oppression. We don't defend rich men. Rich men, they're doing all right on their own. Kyrie Irving, he'll be all right. Relax. He'll be fine. You know what Kyrie Irving really should do? Quit. That's what he should do. He should just quit. That's what he should do. Colin Kaepernick, and we talk. Was he still out trying to get back in the NFL for? What was the reason for it? I listen, what in the hell are they doing? $20 million for the rest of my life. What is the problem? Alexa, what is Kyrie Irving's net worth?
Kyrie Irving is worth an estimated $90 million US. Their annual base salary.
Alexa, stop. What in the hell would he be apologizing for? For what? Why doesn't he just quit? Why doesn't he just walk away and say, F you? How do I know you can do that? Because I sit in a room with heroes who did it. Heroes who sit right here and who risk everything to be in this school. Everything. Brothers in this school, raise your hand if your baby's mother brought up the fact that you were in the UPK and called you a hate group and tried to take your children from you. You understand? Look around. That's who you're sitting with. That's what happens in here. It ain't going to be a protest. It ain't going to be nobody to come out to your job, 100 people in all purple saying, hell no, we won't go. But you're going to have to walk into a court and a woman is going to say, he's in a hate group. He hates white people. He shouldn't have his kids. He's with those crazy niggas that's out there on that street corner. And you're going to have to now explain to a judge everything about the school and explain the whole thing to him. Have to call me down there. They have to call me down there to talk to the damn judge and explain the whole thing. And what's at risk for you? Losing a job that gives you $40 million a year while you already got 90? No. Losing this job means you lose your kids, you lose your apartment, you lose your well-being, you go live outside. That's what that means. That's who we fight for, them. Kyrie Irving, he'll be straight. He'll be okay. Don't cry for him. He'll be good. He'll be fine. He'll find a way to make it. Come on.
If I could, and that's just like the spirit of the brothers that was in Texas when they was like, they seen the Haitian brothers at the border, you know what I'm saying, get whipped on horseback. They went right down there and took the brothers.
Give him a hand. That's what they did out there in Houston, out there in Texas. They can hear me. They can still hear me. So we off.
No, we're not off. We can still hear you.
Okay, I got you. Say, just wrap it up. I'll be in there with you. You come on up.
Come.
So okay, I'll be right up behind you. All right. Come on.
Like another question on topic.
Go ahead. Up.
Do I get the symbols for the tribes?
Okay, I think I remember them all. You got it? Yeah, the brothers will put them online. We can hang them up in the room or something like that too. Is there anyone in particular that you want right now?
No, I was just trying to get
Okay, fast. Judah, Lion, Benjamin the wolf, Simeon the battle axe, Ephraim the unicorn, Manasseh the bull, Gad is the bow and arrow, Naphtali is the grapes. Asher is the grapes. Naphtali is a hind or a young deer. A deer is Naphtali. All right. Not a young deer, so lucky. A deer. A deer is Naphtali. What am I missing? Levi is dice, right? What they would call back in the day lots. That's what the lots are. Dice. Issachar is the donkey or the burro. That's what I got to do. Okay, don't let me forget to practice my Spanish in class. I forgot 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, come on. Who else has something? Is that it, or not?
It's like, yeah, Zebulon is a ship.
Zebulon is a ship. Oh, this is a good one right here. Let me send you this one. Dan, who can I send this to put this on the screen? I got a study that finds that racism causes Black Americans' brains to age faster than people of other races, increasing dementia risk. This is a study that the scientists have already done. I might have to give you my phone to read it. I'll read it for you real fast. A study, check this out. A study, but I'm gonna hand it to you, all right?
So like, I think I'm gonna have this up.
Oh, you got it. So, anyway, researchers found out that, racism is causing Black people to be at higher risk for dementia. And if you work with Blacks and Hispanics at all, you know that there's a tremendous amount of Black people that have mental illness. And it's so many of us out there have mental illness. And this study is showing you that racism causes that mental illness. Racism. From just constantly being oppressed, constantly being under pressure, constantly being forced down and your self-esteem being destroyed. Before you know it, you have a nation of people with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, what's the other one? Manic depression. And this study is saying it can be traced back to racism. on how we're treated, how we have lack of a health care. Hard, very difficult. It's very difficult if you're Black or Hispanic to even get health care. If the white man is not trying to stop you from getting health care, other Black people will tell you not to get health care. So then you're sitting there going crazy, being molested, growing up in a broken home, and the pressure getting worse and worse on your mind. And then now you have the myriad of mental illnesses that Black people suffer from. Go ahead and read it up. Any other questions online? Go ahead.
Brains of Black Americans age faster. Study finds with racial stressors a likely factor.
Okay, can they hear me? How this plug is out? Go ahead.
Good to go? Go ahead.
I was bringing up to my rib to test with the dog babies, and I was telling her, I was like, you know, when they show a black dog and a white dog to a black child, so we know early which one is good, which one is bad. The white dog's a good dog, the black dog's a bad dog. There's no context to it. He just black is bad, white is good. They learn that as a child. So when we teach our kids, what we gotta teach them? The opposite. Because what they watch on TV, what they see when they go out into the world, everything that they see is telling them that something is wrong with you. Just for being black.
But you give him a hand. And let me tell you, give him a hand. And that's why, and that goes to dispel another myth. Here's the other myth. When they call us Black supremacists, like we're Black supremacists, and we are absolutely not Black supremacists, whatever the hell that means. Because, of course, the Israelite School of UPK believes that Blacks and Hispanics and North American Indians are the chosen people of God. But what they call Black supremacy is really equality. Why? Because right now, the white man is God. The white man is Jesus. The white man is beautiful, handsome, and you're ugly. You would have to raise Blacks and Hispanics up on such a powerful level just to be even. Just to be even with them. To be even, you have to take that dial and say, if a little baby says, if a little Black girl says, the Black baby is ugly, the white baby is beautiful. That's called the Doll test, and it was done to support Brown versus the Board of Education. They used this study to desegregate schools because they saw that Black children thought that Black baby dolls were ugly and white baby dolls were beautiful. The problem is they did it again in the 80s. In the 80s. And the Black children said the white baby is beautiful and the Black baby is ugly. Desegregating the schools did not help it at all. This is what helps. The white baby, you have to be a parent, and you have to take the baby doll and you have to say, the white baby is ugly. You're going to have to do that. It's not Black supremacy, it's equality. Because right now your child thinks what? That the Black baby is ugly. Put the thing up on the screen, the baby doll test. Show some kids doing it in the 80s. Oh, they did the test again, I think 2010. It was the same way. Same result. I did the test to all my children. All of my children picked the white baby. All of them. I did it when they were like, 1 or very young. All of them said, the white one is beautiful. Why? Because by the time they're 2, they've seen TV. You understand? They've seen commercials, billboards. Already at 2, they're going to say, this pretty one. This is ugly one. Here's what it'll break your heart. When you ask your child, which one looks like you? You know what your child is going to say? The ugly one. They all say it. They all go, the black one is ugly, the white one is pretty. But which one looks like you? And they go, and it's like they're stunned. They go, I'm the ugly one. And then you got to get the work. You understand? Then you got to say, no, this is the ugly one. This white baby is a piece of garbage. This is the ugly one. This is the disgusting one. This is the beautiful one. This is the smart one. This is the creative one. This is the brilliant one. That ain't supremacy. That's equality, because the child thinks that he is ugly and that the white baby is beautiful. Switching it is really equal. It just gets you to an even playing field. Everybody understands. Do you have it yet or not? I got to run. It's called the baby doll test. It's simple to find. Come on.
I went to like a very mixed high school, like a lot of white people, and I had took a class that a lot of people wasn't taking, and it was like a visual media class, and it was like 10 kids in there. I was one of them, and the teacher literally talked the whole class about how Disney programmed kids to, especially black kids, to hate themselves, how everything good spoke like, they looked right, and everything that was bad talked ghetto or talked like a hood person, or they look dark, in dark environments or trash environments that we grow up in, and it showed how they made kids grow up to like the baby doll test, and how they always believe that black is bad.
And what the study is showing is enough years of that, you're going to grow up crazy. You're going to have dementia, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, because for years you have suffered the effects of racism, and it's driving black people out of their goddamn mind. Everybody understand? Go ahead and play it. Fast, quick, I got to get out of here. Now, you see, when was this one done? I mean, this one is
1940.
This one ain't, that one ain't in 1940. That's when they first did it in 1940. That's in color. That's the 70s and 80s right there.
Quale bambola è bianca?
It's probably Hispanic kids doing it, or Brazilian kids. The same thing.
Quale bambola è nera? Quale delle due è bella?
Questa.
Qual è quella bella? Qual è quella brutta? E qual è quella buona? Quale è cattiva? Qual è buona?
That's the part. Stop. The little girl, she's realizing it. You see her face, she's getting, I'm ugly. I look like this one. I'm stupid. I'm bad. She's getting it. And over time, she goes crazy. Which is once again why what we do is God's work.
Right.
It's God's work. Everybody understands. I got to wrap it up. Let me practice my Spanish. Give it a hand. All right, hold on. Oh, what am I forgetting about? This Thursday, we'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada. Give Nevada a hand. We'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'll be teaching the class from Las Vegas, Nevada this Thursday. If y'all want, I can show you all the stuff the sister sent me about the IUIC. I can break up some other things I had to break down tonight, which I didn't get a chance to do. And I'm going to study my Spanish, and that's that. Any other questions before I go? Okay, Carnales. Somos la Escuela Israelita de Conocimiento Práctico Universal desde 1 Oeste, calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York. bajo el mando del general Yahana desde el 1969 carnales. Esta es la verdad. Si tú eres hispano, negro o indio, nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo, el idio de Dios. With that, pass the class over to Priest Officer Daniela.
ISUPK security announcement. We had ISUPK started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it after 6 months. If a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means 10 for Hebrew. My Asherah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord give you. Give to the Treasury Department, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like, become a holy convocation, which will be the feast of dedication, which is our Hanukkah, starts December 17th. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, starts to wear all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, Imagine, which means stand, brothers only. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Imagine, Barak, Yajamatah, which means hands down, Sar, which means turn face to sister. Sister Imagine, which means stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Imagine, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Yajamatah, class dismissed.